Alrighty then. Alright. Well, that sucked. Alright, chat, good afternoon. We all know... I just fucked that up again. We all know why we're here. We're getting that stupid hybrid today. Maybe, possibly. Now let's stop wasting time and just get straight into it. Alright. Same character as always, we're going with our Roland, my boy. But I'm thinking today we switch out the... switch out the gear for today. Ooh, yeah, let's use the hammer. And I don't think we need the Forgiven. Santa Demons in the chat. How you doing, man? Hopefully your day is going well. And hopefully you had a good new year. Let's try the Commando mod today. Boy. Okay. Anything cool in here? No. Alrighty then. Have you ever seen Ace Ventura, Santa Demon? Because that's where I get that quote from, is Jim Carrey just going, alrighty then. Some of my favorite movies from the 90s. Excuse me. I just had lunch before this, so my voice might be a little different. Not going well, not going well. The trick is today, chat, is to use the shotgun to get the shotgun. Got some Thanos level thinking up in my noggin. Water. Just to make sure. Yeah, okay, both my audio cues are working today. I was kind of hoping Spell Raid would have been done just by about 1 o'clock for his stream, just to transition cleanly over to mine. But, you know, I was watching that the entire time, and, you know, I think at this point he's just about to be done with the, this one. Just about to be done with the Lilith quest, which that's unfortunate, but oh well. Hopefully he doesn't die. All good. Playing some BO1 with your friend right now? Hey, right on ya. What characters you guys playing? And then what part are you guys on? What you build? What you spec? What kind of guns you got? Let me know. Nose is itchy. Excuse me. You're in the Doll Headlands? Okay, so you're like your early to mid 20s in terms of levels rather. What characters you guys playing?
Always nice to get resupply.
Sit your ass down. This gun's kind of hard to use sometimes. There we go. Yeah, let's switch out this guy for the Matador. So that's right afterwards. Okay. Yo, what up, Star Killer? How you doing? Hopefully your day is going well. And hopefully you had a good New Year. I know we didn't really talk much... Excuse me, talk much yesterday, but you know, that is what that is. What are you up to right now, Star? Ooh, badass. Excuse me. I was just telling Santa Demon how I just had lunch before this, and some of that saliva and stuff is still stuck in the back of my throat, so you're probably going to hear a lot of old man grunting today.
You never have enough stuff.
Pop! Pop! Okay, that's our first one for today. Mag 1, though. My New Year's was good, thanks for asking. Just playing Zero for fun, fighting raid bosses and stuff. Okay, right on. I think I was just saying that last stream how the next character I want to build when I'm done with my action is another Zero. Because I haven't played a Zero since, really since Wonderlands came out a couple years ago. And I don't have a level 80 character of him anymore. Oh, there we go, Butcher. A spiked Butcher, that's a low rarity one. You can tell that it's yellow. So there we go, first legendary chat. Well, world drop legendary of the run. Too bad that this shotgun kind of sucks ass though. Here, I'll even show it off. This gun sucks. It has 3 pellets, excuse me, 3 pellets, low damage, and it's a burst fire, right? And then because it is the assault shotgun, it only has about like 5 or so mag. But check this. Do this. So there's that. Okay, kill skill. Oh, chat, look at that damage. Oh, man. Oh, and by the way, I'm using the Commando comm with plus 42% shotgun damage. It is most unfortunate. This is also... I think this is... Yeah, this is barrel 4, so that gives it even more base damage. And then this looks... This is material 1, so it doesn't really give that much of a bonus. So unfortunately, this gun sucks ass. which really sucks because I like the Butcher a lot in Borderlands 2. See, this does even more damage, bro. Actually, probably not. Oh boy. But good luck on your run, Star Killer, with your raid bossing stuff.
Always room for more loot.
I don't remember, did any of us do 0 for the raid bossing stream? Actually, I think you did, if I'm not mistaken. Because that's when we did our color themes for our characters. And if I remember right, you used a 0. You just died? Pfft, loser. What boss were you fighting, Yao? I did 0 for the stream, yeah? Okay, alright, I thought so.
All right, we got guns over here.
Yeah, that gun sucks. Oh, we got a blue one. Still Mag 1 though. Excuse me. Ooh, that's another badass. Nothing that time. You were fighting Hyperius, but not trying to use Boar. Fight him normally as possible. So, like you already know, I don't really do OP levels, or at least not yet. And while I was doing my own raid bossing, I was also fighting Hyperius just with my Maya. And same deal. I didn't really try to do the... I don't remember what it's called. I guess the reflection kill. I just tried to kill him normally. And at least in OP0, it's not that bad of a raid boss fight, at least in my opinion, compared to what we did in OP10. But fighting him, like, legitly is an interesting mechanic. You know, having to whittle down the health of his minions, switching over to him, and then back and forth. It's an interesting boss mechanic. He just disintegrated. I do want to try it again. Or actually just go ahead and just try doing OP levels. I already have a thumbnail ready for it, but I at least want to get this gosh darn hybrid first before I move over to BL2 for a little bit. On Maya, solo OP10 is not bad, since you could slag him easily with phase lock. 0 does not have those set abilities let out. Yeah, that is true. And that's what honestly saved me, because you already know my Maya build, where it's pretty good healing and pretty good slag overall. So I just need to worry about damage for at least my physical loadout. I forgot what mod I had, probably Binder or probably Siren. But yeah, OP0 wasn't too bad, but I know for 0, your only 2 options are, well, your 3 options are grenade, grenade, gun, or kunai. And that latter bit is a little bit inconsistent, especially if you're not in range, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do. That's why I like to use the magic missile. Because, you know, perpetual grenades. Nothing. Squish. Oh, I just realized I'm not in live chat. Man, I hate it when I do that. Okay, thankfully nothing changed. Okay, that's good. Usually I'm pretty good at catching that before I start, but you know, this time I wasn't. This time I wasn't. Oh well. Boopy.
All right, we got
Nothing.
guns over here.
Excuse me. I had some leftover Dominoes for lunch. I ordered some yesterday. And I've been getting some like takeout recently. I was in the ER for a few days. And when I got back, like a lot of my food in my fridge just went bad. So I'm like, well, only one thing to do, and that's, you know, to get takeout. Oh, well. Ugh. Oh, hey, there we go. Second legendary. Is that a masher? No, it's stabilizer. There you go. 2 world drops so far, chat. Salutations, says Mr. Stereo. How are you, Stereo? Hopefully your day's going well, and hopefully you had a good New Year. How's your day going? I missed all of those shots. It's like that one scene in Pulp Fiction. Man, that knockback is crazy. Mag 1 again. Damn. Definitely had a good year. Well, hey, that's good to hear, Stereo. Then Ivan says, hey, were any of you two just in Spellrate's chat? And if so, did he survive Lilith's mobbing section yet? I had to leave like right as he was getting there, like right past the right before the cutscene. And I at least want to know if he survived or not.
You never have enough stuff.
Nope. Yeah, he's in the dust. Okay, cool. He survived. That's good. I was just saying earlier, it would have been really cool for him to at least end his stream right when I started. But, you know, by the time it hit 1 o'clock, you know, he was just about to get to, like, the main part of the mobbing section, so I'm like, I don't know. Oh well. Alright, I gotta respec. I didn't realize I had 1 point in guided missile. Do you 15 bullet resistance is meh. Like I said last time, I wish this was just damage resistance. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. That way my turret can do just a little bit more damage. And then Ivan, same with you. Hopefully you had a good day, and hopefully you had a good new year. And thanks for dropping by. More water. It's starting to get hot in this office. I don't know about you guys, but you know, I must have really bad circulation because sometimes I am just extremely hot or I get really cold really fast. And you know, like right now I'm wearing just like a shirt, shorts, and a pretty fuzzy sweater. But I was cold for the last like 3 hours, and then just randomly, all of a sudden, I'm just getting really hot. Probably because I'm talking. Excuse me.
All right.
And nothing.
Guns over here.
The way they just kind of flop over is really funny. Oh. Still mag 1, damn. Spalray just got cooked by a fan boat. Did he die, Z? Also, how you doing? It sounds like I want him to fail, but I don't.
Armaments.
Whoosh, whoosh. Bop.
Another notch on my way.
He got cooked by a fan boat. I'm assuming he's still in the dust, and one of the vehicle spawns just randomized to a boat spawn. If I'm right, Z? Hopefully I am. I might just have to switch up my comm. Let's do that. Yeah, he's cooked. Mr. T is gonna make him look silly, not gonna lie. Alrighty then. Why is Mr. T gonna make him look silly? Is it for the stream that they're doing together? Or is he just cooking him in chat?
This'll
Nothing. He's cooked. Most unfortunate for old Spowerade. Excuse me. Yeah, on Sunday they have a stream. Okay. I gotta be sure to like tune into that stuff, because I'm a very busy person, and sometimes I don't notice that there is even streams or stuff going on. I also work on the weekends, so there's also that. Nah, Mr. T is too friendly. Yeah, Mr. T is too friendly to be... Excuse me. Mr. T is a bit too friendly just to be giving him some slack in chat. But oh well. On a Sunday, W. Oh, speaking of which, when is that stream, Spellrate? And also, apologies for that, chat. I just happened to be facing the mic as I had to cough that up. I apologize.
This'll help.
Oh, hold on. Now, I really like the normal badass Skag enemies, but the elemental alphas, I don't know if I like them. Probably just because they're like stronger enemies. Maybe just because I'm just, you know, cheap like that, but oh well. But anyway, thank you, Spowraid. Hopefully I do get it today. I heard you got cooked by a fan boat. Most unfortunate. Tell me how you feel, Z. Say it to his face.
All right, we got guns over here.
Then there's Z like, alright, I'll say it. Your technique sucked ass. Or however he sounds. I don't know. I've been trying to make a good Kermit impression just because I think it's funny. Speaking of elemental badasses. My game's already starting to lag a little bit. Yeah, you was blown up in the dust. Rough. I was just telling chat earlier how I had to leave like as soon as you got to Lilith's cutscene. And so I'm like, oh man, hopefully he survives. But at least you survived that, but not the dust. We already got to go for a restart. Yep, we definitely do. Grenades are going through the floor. I'll be back in a bit. I'm going to grind out 2 shorts real quick. All right, bro. You know where to find me.
Armaments here.
I'm over here, dude. Get back down there. All right, we're going to go for a restart after this.
Another one bites the dust. Having another soldier on the field.
Okay. Okay, that was getting a little intense. Chimera was a good luck charm. I guess I was. Now, with that being said, I gotta decide whose chat I'm gonna be in, either Spowraids or Mr. T's, to give them the good luck. I forgot, was it a bingo stream that you guys were gonna do? Once he left, it was game over? Basically, bro. From what I was told. Because if I'm the good luck charm, the tide is in my favor.
Always room for more loot.
Ba, 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 ba.
Notch on my weapon.
Yeah, like the one he did with Gas Mask. Alright, cool. In fact, I watched that video for the first time, like, I think 3 days ago. Because Mr. T was mentioning in his Discord how he wanted to do another one. And he was asking me, he's like, hey, hey, look at that. He was like, hey, do you want to be a part of it? And I said, like, yeah, that would be great, but I don't really know what you're talking about. So he just kind of shook his head, sent me a link to the video, and that's when I watched it. And it was a good video. I liked it. It'll be fun to see, you know, everyone else do it too.
Armaments here.
Which is kind of good that I wasn't chosen first because I don't know that much about BL2. Like there was this scene, oh, not the scene, but there was the checkbox where, what was it? One of them was like all of the slot machines that you got to interact with. I think like 10 of them, I think is what it said. But you know, I don't know where like the majority of them are. Like the one in the dust, I forgot that one existed. YouTube doesn't have a conjoined stream type deal, huh? I don't think so. Unfortunately, I'm not really the one to kind of answer that question, but just from what I have seen around in my corner of the internet, probably not.
All right, we got guns over here.
Skeet shooting. Alright, after this, I want to take off my sweater.
This'll help.
Getting a little bit too toasty. I don't know how anyone hit me there, but I guess they did. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dust had a secret raid boss. That map is too big. Probably not like a raid boss, but like an area boss, right? So think of like the Doll Headland in BL1, where you had, you essentially had two bosses, right? Two area bosses, quote unquote. You had Skagzilla, which is part of a side quest, and then there's Mad Mel, who is part of the main quest. Unfortunately, both of which are kind of locked in their own kind of separate arenas. But at least you had two bosses in the Doll Headland. And then I wouldn't consider it a raid boss at all, but you could fight the Guardians in the Dull Headland 2, which, I mean, as I just said, I wouldn't call that an area boss, but you're almost guaranteed to spawn a badass guardian. So we'll give that one just like a little asterisk next to it. But anyway, to my point, they could have had something like that in 2. I gotta remember to jump during his Nova attack, like that. But yeah, imagine if BL2 in the dust had like a secret raid boss where you had to think of it. What the hell was his nuts? I think Deciduous in the Hammerlock DLC, where you had to go. Excuse me. Where you had to go to like a couple checkpoints to check it off or do some secret stuff, and then when you come back, just this what do you call it? This drifter just kind of emerges out of the ground. And is like, blah, 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 I'm gonna kill you, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like how drifters do in BO1. I don't know if they do that in 2, but at least in BO1, they kind of come out of the ground and stuff. That would have been cool. Or if not a raid boss, just like I said, an area boss, you know? Drop some purples, maybe a unique or 2. They do that, does he? Alright, cool. Like I just said in a Spower Raids chat, I've only played the Hammerlock DLC like 3 times. Usually swampy areas. Noted.
This'll help.
Boop. When we did the 4-player, what was it? I think it was the BL2 Fix mod. When we did that, my 2 favorite weapons that we ever got was the Blast Hammer in that game, which was a Torque shotgun, and then the Stink Pot, which was I think it was also Jacobs, but it was the corrosive Jacobs with the spin barrel, and it was like fully automatic too. Those were my 2 favorite weapons. And if I ever decide just to play the BL2 Fix mod just to kind of dick around in it, like those are probably some of my favorite weapons just to screw around with. I'll tell you what though, the BL1 drifters are way harder. Oh yeah, bro, for real. They're kind of fun to fight too. It's for the same reason how the badass skags in this game are actually badass skags, kind of worth fighting for, is because they'll fuck you up. Skyscraper took my lunch money every time. Ha! He only took my lunch money once, and I said never again. Oh, look at that. That's a pretty good one. Okay. It's unfortunate that Skyscraper is the exact same model as all the rest of the drifters, so the only way to tell them apart is by the name. But that's just like a nitpick and a half. They're fun to farm though. Unfortunately, like I've said and everyone else has said this before, you can't spawn directly into the DLC maps, so you're going to have to drive to the Sunken Sea every single time you want to farm them. But at least there's plenty of them to farm. Oh, look at that. Material 3. Have you ever gotten a pearl from the Drifter Z, or anyone in the chat? Because I personally haven't. But then again, I've only done, over the 10 years of playing this game, I've only done one farming session of Drifters.
All right, we got guns.
That was about... That was about 6 years ago on the 360. And I've only done about 3 runs, because I was also farming for... At that time, it would have been, I think, my 2nd or 3rd Ajax Ogre. Which I got the Ogre, but not the right parts. But you know, actually, we'll look it up right quick. So if we go to Loot Lemon, if we go to, can I just look it up? Drifter? I can, it's spelled with an E though. So if we go on Handy Dandy Loot Lemon, the unique Drifter Skyscraper, as well as badass and regular Drifters. I didn't know there was badasses. Drop pearlescent weapons, so you can find them in the Deep Fathoms, Sunken Sea, or Road's End. Oh, it wasn't Sunken Sea that I was farming them. It was Road's End. I'm sorry. Oh well, same fucking deal. So let's see here. So Drifter, they have, you know. Oh wait, hold on. Those are the Iridians. If you look at pearls, they have a greater chance of dropping them. Where is it? So 0.018.018. Yeah. I've never had a pearl drop from the Drifters. I do know that every time you kill them, they do drop an item. Right? So you can tell by looking at your compass. Right? So currently you can see that there's that little money bag. So if you kill a bunch of the, if you kill a Drifter, and then if you can't physically see a weapon on the ground because you're probably in your car, you can tell that you can see that there's a piece of gear, and if you at least hover over it, you'll consume the ammo and money and stuff, and then you'll be able to see the actual piece of gear easier. Mark 1615 says, "Hello everyone, repent for your sins, believe in Jesus Christ for salvation, becoming a new person in this life." There you go. Quote of the day right there. Thanks, Mark. Hopefully your day is going well, and hopefully you had a good new year. I made Mordecai, so killing Kra was tough for me. I've never been able to, well, I don't think I ever tried to beat Kra with just Mordecai, because I am just not very good at the Kra fight. I've always been a playthrough character, or a playthrough player, not like an endgame player like how the rest of my buddies are. So I know how to get through the game really well, really fast, and a lot of tips along the way. But when it comes to like raid bossing in BL1, like it's not my cup of tea. It's good. I hope your day is good. Well, my day is going good, Mark. Just chilling out, having a good time. Trying to get this gosh darn hybrid, though.
Armaments here.
Where'd you go? Chimera Scar, you son of a gun.
Beat my ass.
Ba 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 ba. I'm kind of... I hope I am wrong, and I hope Orion is wrong, but Orion said that I'm going to get this at about 500, and if he's right, then I'm going to have an unfortunate 170 runs. Excuse me, sir. Get out of here. Just watching these little these skags just trying to do anything, and then they just blow to smithereens. To me, it just kills me. It's great. Son of a bitch. When do you think we're going to get this this damn hybrid already? I was really hoping I would have gotten it by about like run 300. But you know, it's not going that well for me. Then again, this is like an actual drop, right? So kind of like how BL2 weapons drop, right? For those who don't know, the TK's wave from Scar is a 10% drop chance. Is there a God Roll hybrid? Ooh, excuse me. There's not really any such thing as a quote-unquote God Roll hybrid for the TK's wave. You just have to get the Bulldog magazine, which you know that if it has 20 mag. And then because it's a legendary part, but the TK's wave is a unique, it'll cap out at purple rarity. And you think 700? Damn, son. 700. I hope you're wrong. I want to get it at 499. Just to show Orion some spite. And, ah man, I forgot what I was saying earlier. Man, I hate it when that happens. Oh well. Oh, but in terms of like a God Roll hybrid, the only one that I could think of is the Ajax Ogre, because you can get different body parts, right? So you can get body, I think 3, 4, and 5. I don't know about body 3, but I know body 4 and 5. I know you can spawn with those too. And for the God Roll hybrid, body 5 for the Ajax Ogre is your best bet. And I think like stock 4 or whatever else, I kind of forget. When I get around to doing the combat rifle weapon parts, I'll have a better answer. But also because the Ajax Ogre is the best hybrid in the game. Arguably the best weapon in the game. Whoa, hey there, sir. Keep your barf out of my face. Okay, we're already at 40 runs in, chat. We gotta pick up the pace if we want to get it in time. I do want to get this hybrid before the year is over, definitely. But you know, maybe I'll only do maybe one more stream of this after this one if we don't get it. And then I might just break off, probably play some BL2 for a bit, maybe try a different hybrid. Holy hell. That guy blitzed that turret. Nah. Hyperion? Okay, that is the stability, or the, well, not stability, that is the laser sight accessory. So yeah, it gives it higher accuracy and higher accuracy recovery, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. I sure hope so. I was looking at my, like my published videos and my streams for 2024, and I have done about 15 videos and 15 streams for this year. which compared to kind of what I normally do, or like the last 4 years, or excuse me, last 3 years of my channel, that's pretty good. And I was just telling this to, I think I was telling this to Star the other day, that this, 2024 sucked as a year, but at least the videos and streams that I've made, I'm happy with all of them. And every so often when I get bored, I'll just throw on some video or stream that I've done and just kind of listen to it. Hopefully I do the same thing this year. Odds are that's probably going to be the case. But it would be great if I could start the year with a hybrid. As long as you're happy, nothing else matters, my dude. Yeah, exactly. Even though I've been playing this game for such a long time, I still have fun playing it. Yeah, yeah, it does sound cliche, but it's a... I forgot my train of thought. It sounds cliche, but in practice, it's absolutely true. Right? So even if you're playing with friends or doing it for a purpose, and as long as you're just having fun while doing it, then that's really all that matters. Because I work long hours. Well, like I said, I work long hours and I put in a lot of effort into my job. And so whenever I can just chill out, not really have to worry about what's going on, and just kind of shut up and blow some skags to smithereens, I'm happy. And it helps me refuel and rejuvenate for, you know, the next work day, or like after stream, I'm going back to finish my editing that I'm doing. And this just kind of helps me set up blocks of my time so I'm not fully wasting my time, but I'm also setting the amount of time that I want aside to either do my main job, my side gig, or in this case, stream to kind of help out with that side job.
Always nice to get resupply.
You know, stuff like that. Speaking of work, how's that been on that end? Well, I was in the hospital for the last few days, so I haven't worked Monday and Tuesday, but Sunday, so I work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I have a 410. So I was working Sunday. It was pretty difficult for me, like effort-wise. I get tired really fast, and, you know, I had pneumonia. I messed up that sentence. I had pneumonia, and that made my fatigue and my asthma just way worse. And so I was just going through the day, just trucking on through, not really setting the right amount of time to kind of rest, because I can't. So work was definitely an effort day, but, you know, afterwards, you know, I just tried to take a shower. Didn't really go end well, so I told my dad, I was like, hey, can you take me to the to urgent care? But at least I got to spend Monday, Tuesday in the hospital, but my time there was good. The people were nice. I had to get some food there, so that was pretty good. And, you know, I just kind of did my thing and just chilled out for a couple days, because I definitely overwork myself a lot, especially when I shouldn't. I always end up doing so. But the 30th and 31st, those were fine days. I just didn't work those days at all. But my boss, my manager, and my other cooks and my dishies came in clutch, just kind of helped me out. And so that made my time less worrisome, you know? Because usually I'm the guy who's the backup guy. You know, so I make sure everyone gets their stuff ready, make sure everyone's good to go. But you know, they came in clutch for me this time, so I'm thankful for that. Damn, get well soon. Hopefully no more evil comes your way. Well, I can't really guarantee that no more evil comes my way, but, you know, life really likes to punch me in the dick. But, you know, I'm a resilient little fuck. So I bet I'll be fine. I am feeling a lot better, though. I found out when so my hospital is across the street from urgent care. So let's say this rock is urgent care, this is the hospital, right? So I was here, and they did, I forget what it's called. Like, they didn't really test my O2, but they just kind of listened to me breathing and then got a blood pressure. But my oxygen was about like 81. Right? And when you reach to the 70s, you start losing brain cells. So they're like, you get your ass across the street. So, you know, I waddle my ass across the street. And then, you know, I've been in the hospital since then. But I get there, they hook me up. And the short distance it took me to walk from the main door to my room, my heart rate went up by like 60 or 70. And then it dropped, well, it raised from 82 to 85. But it dropped right back down to 81. So everyone there was like, how the hell are you able to walk? I was like, I don't know. I do what I gotta do. But you know, after a little bit, they had me hooked up to like oxygen, not breathalyzers, but nebulizers and stuff like that. Your typical asthmatic stuff, whatever you gotta do. But all in all, I was fine. I just chilled out, let the doctors do their thing. And I just try to make it less boring for me as possible. You do the same thing, Stereo? I'm assuming you're talking about like in terms of being the backup for your crew. Damn, you needed a real life OS kit. Yeah, man, I did. I was hooked up to oxygen almost the entire time. And when I got there, so like my first day and a half, I was hooked up to 15 liters of oxygen, bro. And then, you know, ever since then, it was from like 15 to 10 to 5 to eventually none. And for the last 3 hours I was there, I was just chilling out with really just my IV in my arm. Not even hooked up, but just, you know, that patch in there. And this little, so think of it like a phone, right? Just like an older phone from the day. So it's like about the size of one, but like twice as thick. And it's like this remote heart monitor, right? So it has the cords in there, and it goes in your pocket for like your hospital gown. But like with other hospital equipment, you get like these little sticker deals that kind of go on your torso, and then, you know, have little wires that connected to such to, you know, get your O2, your blood pressure, your heart rate, all that stuff. So I just had that little deal equipped to me. And then, you know, like I just said, the last like 3.5, 4 hours, I was just chilling out in my bed, just breathing. And then eventually I went home. I got to do another reset. Oh. But I survived. Like I normally do, but... You know, that didn't stop my old man from tearing me a new one. But oh well. Alright, let's do a reset. It's already been an hour. Man, it only felt like Like half an hour. At least there wasn't a surgery involved. Yeah, that is true. Unfortunately, well, I don't know how you would say it. Fortunately or unfortunately, I guess more on the positive. No surgery is kind of needed for that sort of thing. Oh, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure on that. Because the first day I was there, they had to get, after my body calmed down and stuff, they had to get an x-ray just to see, because I told them, like, it definitely feels like pneumonia, something that I've had to deal with before. And so they at least got an x-ray of that. And on my lower left quadrant of my left lung, they saw mucus or liquid as such that appears like pneumonia, which that just confirmed mine and my doc's belief. And so that's really why I got really tired really fast just from walking like 200 paces. But, I'm not really, I can't speak. I don't know if stuff like that requires a surgery or if that's even possible. We have not had a wave in a while, chat. Oh dear. But anyway, kind of changing the subject over for just a little bit. If any of you guys have seen my newest video, which is the art style of Borderlands video, what were your guys' thoughts on it? Because that's a pretty different video for me, and it took me like 2.5 to 3 weeks to make it. But, I was really happy with it. Pneumonia can be solved with surgery if really bad. They basically hook up tubes to your lungs and then suck out the liquid. Okay. So not the type of surgery that I'm thinking of, but still a type of surgery. Okay. What they did do, right? So for the first night I was there, one of the nurses, she handed me this little plastic little box, and she said, this is what, I don't know if it's actually called this, but she was saying this is what we call a duck collar, right? And so what it is, it's has this little box with a mouthpiece, and you're supposed to breathe through it, right? And it has like this mechanism in there, which I don't know what it is. It's like it rotates, and it makes your breath kind of not really quiver, but it's like a thud, 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 thud sort of sound to it. And what that does is exercises your lungs. So after you've taken like a steroid, antibiotics, or drink a lot of water, it helps you cough up some of that phlegm. Which that's what I did. I only used that for like a few hours because I forget. But really all I did was, take my medicine, just chill out, drink plenty of water, and then just coughed up that stuff. Or at least as much as I could. And that's always been how I dealt with that. More of those videos would be dope. Yeah, I want to make some more of those videos. I have an idea of what to do, not for like a sequel to that, but while I was in the hospital, I was just talking to the other guys, and the Wonderlands comic got brought up in conversation, and I'm like 99% sure Hellfire already made a video about it because he was the one who kind of brought it up, and and I was like, I totally forgot that comic existed, and he's like, bro, look at this. He sends me a screenshot of 2 pages, and chat, let me tell you, I've been making comic books pretty much my entire life. They're not that great. In fact, if I show them off, which I did one time, but that was my old channel. If I were to show them off again, compared to this bullshit that you read in the Wonderlands comics, mine are like 10 times better. And some of them are like 15 years old. And I was reading these comic pages, and I'm like, dude, Hellfire, this is like the worst comic I have ever read in my life. And he's like, I know. Firehawk. Look at that. I didn't even need to be Mordecai this time to get a world drop. I'd have killed a gosh darn pup skag again, though. Once again, same thing with the butcher. It's low rarity. It has some nasty side effects, so it isn't recommended. Are you talking about like the duck collar stereo? Or are you talking about the surgery? You say you still have mine, so I'm assuming it's the former. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I was just reading just those 2 comic pages, and I told Hellfire, I was like, bro, I can rewrite just those 2 pages, and it would be better. And I can't write stories for shit. You were talking about the surgery? Okay. So it was the latter. A badunching. But anyway, jumping back to that first conversation, I'm considering making a video about the Wonderlands comic. Hey, look at that, 4th legendary. Making a little segment about the Wonderlands comic. Because the art style sucked. Right? I forget the majority of our conversation, but the same dude who made the Wonderlands comic did a couple other ones, but I forget what it was. But I was just comparing the art style, and I was like, yeah, this is the same guy. I could barely read the text bubbles because it was a small PNG image, but the backgrounds were awful, the character designs were awful, and Tiny Tina was awful. It made no sense. And I used to play D&D, so I don't know as much as like my buddies do, but I know enough to where I could call out this writer for being stupid. And, you know, trying to force Tiny Tina comedy. Right? And what I mean by that is there was this one scene out of the 2 screenshots. She mentioned how this enemy deals damage like Moxie deals kisses. For some reason, which makes no motherfucking sense. But, you know, he was like, but they were like, what does that even mean? And she goes like, I don't know. Or just something stupid. I don't fully remember. But it was enough to get a reaction out of me. And where I'm like, all right, Hellfire, I'm going to remake this comic. And then we're going to see how well it does. So, I've never read a comic book in my life, but I'm a sucker for design talk. Really, Z? So it's worse than the movie? I don't know. I really don't know. That's a question I gotta think about. Is the comic worse than the movie? Well, do correct me if I'm wrong, but there's only 3 issues of this comic series for, you know, the Wonderlands comic. But I'm gonna just compile them all into like one category. Man, I still don't know. Like, the story is incredibly stupid. Then again, so was the movie. So man, I have to write that down. I'm gonna have to answer that when I get around to making that video. You still have your duck collar? Oh, okay. I got rid of mine. I didn't need it. One of the final things I will say about my time at the ER, usually, and this is what the doctor was telling me and my dad, is like 9 times out of 10, any asthmatic who their O2 is in like the really late 70s, early 80s, they look like they're about to die. But I was walking, and I looked physically fine, and he was like, I haven't really seen that before. Just about how I was operating. I was like, that's news to me. But I don't need it, but I find it interesting and will probably need it for the future, lol. Yeah, it's one of those weird deals, right? So I've been trying to work better. It's probably because I used to play an instrument, but I got pretty good at controlling my breath. Right, so the example like I just gave, I used to play the saxophone, so woodwinds, they're not as taxing on your lungs like brass instruments do because you're not buzzing your lips, but, I used to hold notes for a very long time because usually in a symphonic band, saxophones are more of like your backup, your background instruments, right? Same thing with like French horns. And so I just played a lot of longer notes and I got pretty good at it. I became second chair in my sophomore and junior year and then stopped my senior year, but
Always room for more loot.
But I always had a pretty good lung strength, all things considered. And then of course, whenever I'm taking like a breathing treatment or just doing my deal, I usually try to exercise my lung strength by, not really holding my breath, but like the example I just gave was to keep a consistent air pressure like I would play a note, right? And then of course, being in the kitchen a lot, you're used to the heat, but you also have to project your voice a lot. So even outside of band, I would have to constantly talk and project my voice to people who are either just right next to me, further down in the kitchen, or so on and so forth. So I feel like stuff that I just do in my normal life has helped exercise my lungs to the point where I wasn't dying. All things considered. It's very taxing though, I can bet. Yes. I remember first playing the sax and, I just used to get super tired super fast. I couldn't hold my notes and then all that other stuff. But like with most things, once you practice it, once you actually do it enough times, it gets a lot easier. There we go. Damn it, heck more. But anyway, to my point is, I don't know if you're referencing the how I might need the duck collar in the future or you do, but because of just my job and what I have to do for said job, I feel as though if I could just make sure that I'm not overdoing anything and I just fucked up that sentence, yo. I messed it up real bad. As long as I do like some breathing exercises, then I should definitely be fine. Yeah, when I went in, I was told I'd be there for a month or two and was out in 3 days. That was basically what I was told, right? Not for like a month or two, but they were saying how I could be there for like a week plus. And I was looking at them like, that ain't gonna happen, Captain. Because I already racked up a bill as it is. Like, I don't need to be there for over a month. But, you know, I was out by day 3. I would have gone earlier, but, you know how doctors are. They take their bittersweet time. Then again, there was also patients who just needed their attention more than I do. So I'm just like, hurry up, please. But oh well. I still got out of there. I still was fine. Definitely blame band. Well, I wouldn't necessarily blame band, but kind of made my lungs stronger. I might need it in the future with the working conditions I sometimes work in. What conditions, Stereo? I'm curious. A week for pneumonia? Well, the issue isn't necessarily just pneumonia. It's pneumonia stacked with asthma issues, stacked with my fatigue issues. Right? So just because you got some like liquid in your lungs, it will fuck up your day. Especially me, who, like I just said, I get tired really easily. So I could walk about 15 paces, or I could walk up just a flight of stairs, and like I said earlier, my heart rate could almost double, and I would lose a lot of oxygen in my body. So all of those things stacked up together could really mess up my day. And it has. Dust, powder, and alleged black mold. Do you work in construction, Stereo? Because I did for a time, but I did interior carpentry. So, you know, there was like some sawdust, there's a lot of manual labor, not as much as people think, right? Still a decent amount of labor, of course, but, you know, because I was working with my dad, he knew kind of what my limits were, and he knows when I'm struggling, and I tell him like, hey, I gotta chill out for a second. So I usually end up doing like door hardware or bath hardware or something other stuff. But yeah, no, definitely black mold. That, yeah, not anything fun you want to mess with. Asbestos is even worse.
Always nice to get resupplied.
There is currently a lot of that in my grandparents' house because, you know, that was made in nearly the 70s, I think is when the house was made. But they got to take care of that stuff. My grandma is asthmatic too. And so she's like, gotta stay at my son's house for a bit. So, no, I work closer with computers and stuff, just the poor locations. Interesting. Dust and powder. Where the hell do you do that stuff, bro? Or are you like my computer buddy where, well, he's not really specifically, he doesn't like go out to locations and work on computers and stuff. It's actually quite the opposite. They take the materials to him and then he does his deal, and he does his deal. Like dust and powder, that stuff makes sense, but you know, black mold in whatever area that you're working in, that ain't super good. Shut up, tablet.
You never have enough stuff.
I've got a really nice software related job. It's just the locations I work at are not well kept. Damn, son. That seems to be like a repetitious, that seems to be like a repeating pattern for the peeps that I know that work with software or just computer related stuff. That's unfortunate to hear. And I told you guys last week where if you don't keep up on your kitchen cleanliness, right, it can get really bad. Like I've said before how one of the kitchens I worked at had a lot of mold growing on like the racks and stuff because no one cleans that stuff. And so if, like in my case, if I breathe that in, it makes me sick like faster than normally. And I didn't mention this before, but I naturally get really sick. Well, not really sick, but I get sick pretty easily, but my body doesn't know that, or I'm so used to it, but I can function perfectly fine. Right? So my mind won't tell me that I'm sick, but my body would just do whatever it's got to do and then just not make that bodily connection. So when I get tired pretty fast or when I, that sort of thing, your normal side effects with sickness, I usually don't notice it until like it's already gone.
Always room for more loot.
Your body has a late reaction. My body just doesn't tell me anything, bro. Like I just said, I'm so used to it where my body won't recognize it. Excuse me. And actually, going back to the hospital visit, so as I was like within the 5 hours that I left, a dietitian came in and he was like, "Hey, I'm so and so, a dietitian, and I had some questions about whatever food you ate." So I'm like, "All right, go for it." She asked me, like what stuff I got, what I thought about it, and basically how was room service. And because, and this isn't because I'm a cook, but because like I know what's in food, how to make it, and then also how other people in my life reacted, I know that if I get super shaky and super tired like I was, I know I need protein to actually fuel myself and then sugar to help jumpstart that, right? So either in the randomness of night or just whenever I ate, I was like, I need some protein, sugar, and fat. And they're like, okay, they got me whatever I needed. And that's what I was telling her. I was like, I just paid attention to whatever food you had and then tried to maximize my protein and sugar intake to actually fuel myself. And she was like, okay, how was the food? And I was like, the food was pretty good. So on and so forth. And then she was like, do you have any questions for me? And I go, yeah, I do. You guys hiring? Because my current job doesn't have any med benefits because it's a small business. But I was telling her, I'm like, hey, like if you're looking for someone who knows how to cook, I'm your guy. But then I also told her I got offered a job about a year ago by my old manager before I became his replacement. He essentially gave me a job opportunity to, I forget what it was, a nutritionalist or a dietitian, right? So someone who just pays attention to what the patient needs and then makes the food accordingly, right? And so I was telling her, I was like, that's something I'm interested in just because I want to increase my food knowledge. And I was just basically saying, hey, do you have a job? And she's like, actually, we probably do. But, she was telling me just like to look on the website and stuff and then do whatever got a deal to look at it. So I'll probably end up doing that today. and then we'll see where that goes. Because I always find it fun to learn something new. Hey, look, another legendary. I always find it fun to learn something new, especially if it's something that I know that I'm good at. So, that's the end of that story.
Armaments here. Another one bites the dust.
Hopefully you find a gig there. Yeah, maybe. I could also, I don't really know how this works just because I haven't really looked into it. But something I could also do is talk to my boss and see if there's a way to essentially get some form of medical benefit for my current job. Right? And that's unfortunately all that I know. I don't really know how that works, what it's called, how to do it. But next time I talk to her, which will probably be Saturday, I'll bring it up. And if it's not something that she can do, then, you know, that means I just have to get a new gig. But I'm sure it'll end up well. It's funny if you get a new job because of a trip to the hospital. Yeah, it would be funny. It would be really funny. The way that she kind of looked at me too when I said that, I was like, "Hey, you looking for a job?" I guarantee it. She has never been asked that question before. Which I just think is really funny. But two of my peers and good friends of mine, hey look, 5th legendary. But some peers of mine and some of my friends used to work in, not the same hospital I was at, but a different one. And, you know, they used to be a cook there and do all that stuff. And so the stuff that they would make is, you know, really cool. Or it was just different. Because, and I just kind of found this out, they're essentially just two different kitchens, right? So there is the, there's the kitchen for the patients, right? So a lot of times they have dietary restrictions, allergies, whatever else. And that's like really, I forget the word, monitored is the word I'll use, right? For, you know, like I just said, food allergies, pathogens, stuff like that. Excuse me. And then there's just the normal cafeteria, right? So the kitchen where like family of patients will go, the doctors themselves if they don't have any restrictions, stuff like that. And I just found this, and I only recently found that out. But if I get that opportunity, or if I get that job, I feel like either way would be kind of a good gig for me, something for me to learn. But anyway, as I just said, two of my peers used to work at different hospitals, and the food that they would make, I'm assuming is for the regular cafeteria, right? So a lot of fancy food, because they're a lot better than me at cooking. They've been doing it longer than I've been alive. But, you know, some of the stuff that they make, it's like, damn, you can make that shit in a hospital? I kind of want to get food now. Lol. I ate before I started. I'm set. I also don't really get that hungry talking about food anymore, because I do it like all day. Like if I get to the kitchen and then we're either talking about our monthly specials or kind of what to do for Minor Chef's opening. Because sometimes, well, usually I make like sauces like hollandaise, gravy, chili, stuff like that. But also some days I make soups, right? So my chicken curry is the fucking bomb diggity. Potato soups, whatever I got to do. So we're talking about food almost all the time. And so usually I don't get hungry like that anymore. The food was decent when I went to get my gallbladder removed. I had to lie to my mom and say it's worse than her food. Interesting, Z. Sometimes they just got good stuff. Right? I was not impressed by their penne. Right? Their noodles were, or excuse, not really the penne, but their Alfredo was pretty shit. And then the actual burger patty that they had wasn't the best. It wasn't bad. The food there was not bad, but I can tell slightly lower quality stuff when I taste it. Right? So I forgot where I was going with that. But oh yeah. But I grew up, right? So my parents grew up way poorer than what my sister and I had to deal with. I mean, fucking obviously. But their cooking is all from like cans and boxes and stuff, or just packaged goods. So I got so used to eating that sort of type of food. But then when I actually started working in kitchens, I got to taste like real food. And I'm like, holy shit, there's an actual flavor to this thing. And so that's why I like to cook and that's why I'm still in the kitchen industry. But, you know, compared to my parents, you know, they're cool with that sort of thing, but I'm like, I gotta have some quality stuff. Not to say that my mom's cooking is bad. There's a couple other factors in there, but I mean, she deals with what she's dealt with. All right, we're gonna do for another reset. Well, I don't eat very often when I don't have work that day and tend to forget about eats at appropriate times unless someone reminds me that food exists. Yes, I was telling the same dietitian and some of the other doctors I was talking to, I have what's commonly known as a chef's diet, right? So basically what that means is I'm just snacking throughout the day. And usually when I'm home, I am just working in my office all day, so that usually means I don't eat dinner or breakfast. And that's not a good thing. I don't recommend that to anyone, but you know, that's kind of why I'm still skinny. And then of course me just like working all the time, I'm burning those calories, but you know, I still stay fit, I still exercise, stuff like that. I just look skinny as fuck. You had a Remy eating a cheese and strawberry moment. I remember watching Ratatouille for the first time and then doing that same thing, like taking some cheese and try to imagine that same scenario. But when I started cooking for a living, and not from like a fast food joint, but actually got to make something, it was basically like that, yeah. Where it's like a this food is good. Yeah, I'm gonna get food, lol. Excuse me. That was quick. That fight was over in a second. For me, the smell of food fills up my appetite. It's like eating with your nose type thing. Well, yes, I understand how smelling works, Z. Thanks for that. But no, I get you, I get you. Oh, whoops. Boom. Oh, man. I will say, when you work in the industry for long enough, certain smells that would be appetizing just does the complete opposite and kills it. Right? This may be a bad example, but ever since I was able to smell again for the last few months, I would smell like our fryer oil, which is a brand oil, which I don't like that smell at all. It would just kill any appetite I had. Right, so I've mentioned this before on stream, but as soon as I get up, so if I'm not the opener, I'll get up at 5 instead of 4, and then I'll get to work at 5:30, and Chef is already there. And when I get there and I'm pulling into the driveway, he like just literally got there, so he's already turning on the lights and opening whatever he's got to do. And if we gotta fill up the oil or that's just turned on, I would lose any appetite that I had, because to me that smell is so abhorred that it just kills my mood.
This'll help.
I think we might hit 400 runs today, chat. We got 20 minutes. 20 minutes for 20 runs.
Always nice to
Nope.
get resupply.
400 is guaranteed. Let's hope so. I gotta start... Oh, shit. I gotta start doing my grenade jumps more strategically. Like that was useless.
You never have enough stuff.
Probably just gotta start moving over directly to the chopper.
This'll help.
Here we go. I need to get me a new chopper. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe to kind of take a break from the hybrid farming, I'll stream a new chopper. I think I've already said that. I don't know.
Always nice to get
Hellfire?
resupply.
Nope. One thing I will say about the hospital I was at, and I guess for some people, I guess I don't know if it's reasonable, but makes sense. But something I never really noticed is while I was there was an abundant amount of signs basically saying like there's like a zero tolerance for like hitting on the nurses or doctors or taking inappropriate photos, stuff like that, which normally you could expect to see some form of that at the wherever you go. But I was just not really expecting to see all of those signs everywhere. And even when I got to my room, like I've already seen 20 at that point. And so like I had to ask the nurses, I'm like, how often do you guys get hit on? And they're like, oh, quite often. I'm like, damn, that shit's crazy. As they're, taking off my shirt and, putting all like my stuff on. I was like, that's actually crazy that happens. What happens if a nurse hits on you? I keep secrets. The nurses that were, at least the first night I was there, they were cute. But, I keep things professional. I'm there for a reason, they're there for a reason. They're also like 5 years older than me, so I mean like, I didn't want to say something incredibly stupid, So, I just do what I do and just, keep professional, just keep conversation lighthearted. I had a good time, and I don't think any of them really had a problem with me. I do think, though, I'm not saying that this did happen, but I am pretty sure the nurse that got assigned to me, like for that night, I think she was crushing on me. Okay, I think so. Only thing I'll say is that her name was Ashley. I think that's a cute name. She was cute, but whenever she had to check in on me, she was like, hey, do you need anything? Just making sure I was set. And then, the amount of times that I did talk to her, it was just a good conversation. She was a cool person. All right, I got it done finally. What did you have to get done, Santa? Mr. Santa Demon. I know you were saying at the beginning of the stream you were at the Doll Headland. I don't know if that's what you're referencing. My nurse was a blonde with a nose job, so I low-key got some confidence after that. Okay, I'm gonna sound incredibly stupid. Are you talking about like nose job, like it was bigger, it got smaller, or what? What are we talking about? Because there were 3 nurses that were looking after me. One of them was like 25, like a dirty blonde. She was doing her job. Then there was the one that actually kind of saw me that night, and then she's just more my type. I kind of forgot she was more of a brunette, but she kind of had her hair up in like a ponytail sort of deal, and a little bit of like freckles going on. But she had a really nice smile, and then she was cute. And then there was I forget what it's called. She was wearing green. She was one of those respiratory nurses or something like that, and she had like dark brown hair, a pointy nose, a smaller face, and then like the way she sounds was I don't know how to describe it. But like a chick that I would be friends with, right? Who is, I mean, it sounds awful, like for me to say that she's like sounds like a bitch, but she's not. She was actually cool as fuck, but you know, that kind of mannerism, I guess. I don't know. I'm doing horrible at this shit. All in all 3 of them were awesome. The nurse who saw me was pretty cute, but if I wasn't in a situation where I was stuck in a bed not being able to breathe for 3 days, I probably would have talked to her more. I wouldn't know what it was before, but it looked pretty small. Interesting. Okay, so she had like a small perky nose, I guess. Which, one day someone asked me kind of, well, a girl that I was talking to last year, she was asking me what kind of girls I'm into or whatever else. And, you know, I gave her my answers, and she was, and I mentioned how, because she was a redhead, but, you know, she was looking nice, and then I told her what I liked about her, and she was like, why this? Because I gave, like, specific, well, not really specific, like, I said some examples for, like, how the face is shaped, for how, like, her torso curves or whatever, and she was asking me, why stuff like that? Because a lot of guys always say, you know, I like tits, I like ass, I like curves, shit like that. But I don't know if it's like an artist thing or what, but I was telling her it's like an ensemble of all of that stuff. Right, so, I mean, being a redhead didn't have too much with it, but redheads usually have an ovalish face. Right, not all the time, but usually they do. Quite a small ovalish face, a perky looking nose, and then just how, like, her arms attached, like, the way her arms are with her torso going into, like, her waist and stuff. I told her, like, that's, like, stuff that looks really good. It looks really good. And she just kind of looked at me like, I've never had a guy say that to me before. I was like, I've never had a girl ask me that question before. So. All right, we got 5 runs in 10 minutes. Okay, we got this, chat. We're not getting a hybrid today, though. It ain't gonna happen, Captain. Your artistic integrity definitely had an effect on your taste in women. Well, I mean, she was into me, so definitely had something. But, like, my other cooks and I, one of them, like, got a girlfriend recently. And, you know, we all 3 of us were talking, and then I was kind of making a joke where, like, you got a girlfriend now. I guess we're not friends anymore. See you next time. Whatever else. You know how guys are. But we were talking about the same deal, and how just me and my buddy, we just have different taste in, you know, women or whatever else, right? And I told him the same deal is because I know the anatomy of people and I studied it, there's a lot of things that I'm specifically, like, attracted to, or stuff that I just like. And, you know, as an artist saying something that he likes compared to just, like, a quote-unquote normal person, a lot of times I look at that. How many gosh darn equalizers? This is our 4th one today. 6 legendaries? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 legendaries, rather. And just having that conversation just between, like, 2 guys, you know, it just goes to show that not everyone thinks the same. But yes, it definitely does. And you can usually tell the personality of these ladies just by looking at them and kind of how they, you know, interact with stuff. You are not Scar. You are. 2 more runs.
This'll help.
Oh, hey there. Uh-oh. Okay, we got it. That's one thing about the chopper that really sucks. If you go into fight for your life while you're pulling the trigger, you're still firing those shots. And for some reason, they don't go forward. I think they always kind of go off to the side. I'm not too sure. But... donk. I tell my homies that I like women who are smaller and with a distinct look. Yeah, I know a lot of guys are into women that are just smaller than them. Which, I've always been curious why. Now, all of the girlfriends that I had were either my same height or like a little bit smaller, but not like too small compared to me. But I'm someone who doesn't really care about that sort of thing, but I know some guys definitely are. They still end up calling me homosexual. You know how that is, bro. But like sometimes, well, I don't know about sometimes, but I understand how some guys might like a distinct look, right? So I forgot who I was having this conversation with, but I was mentioning how, you know, some girls have like an ovalish face, a sharper, not like a sharper jaw compared to like a guy, but feminine jaws, they're a lot narrower than guys' jaws, because, you know, we have jaw lines, hoorah. But, you know, a guy that I was talking to, he was saying he did not like the, that type of jaw, like the really slender looking face. They like the ovalish, and then, you know, just a, not like a fat woman, just someone with like meat on their bones sort of deal. And then I've met guys who think the exact opposite. Guys are weird, bro. People are weird as hell. Oh, we're at like 402 now. Oh man.
Always room for more loot.
Let's get up to 405. That'll be a good place to end it for today. And it'll be just short of 2 hours. That ain't too bad. I'll tell you what, though. I'm a lot happier now that I'm streaming these hybrid hunts rather than what I was doing for the first two, and that was just recording them. Because man, do I get bored just recording these hybrid hunts. For those who didn't know, the first two hybrid hunts that I've uploaded were my Kairos Power and then the Bone Shredder Savior. And because I didn't have a way to stream at the time, I just had to record it, and I oftentimes just got really bored because I wouldn't have conversations like what we were having, but I would just kind of sit there and be like, oh, I got this, or oh, there's that, so whatever else.
We got guns over here.
Excuse me. It made the video easier to edit because I only talked when I needed to, but, you know, I feel like with just about every single other person on this planet, I like being able to interact with people. Height in my neck of the woods is pretty consistent. You're not going to find over 5'7". For girls, Z? I'm not saying that I have physically met like a girl who's taller than me. Well, I mean, I have, but you know, nothing just passed over just like a, hey, how you doing sort of gig. But all the girlfriends that I have had have either been my same height or just like barely shorter. But if they wear heels, they are like a little bit taller for me. For girls, obviously. I'm just making sure, Z. Just making sure. There we go. There's our 8th legendary. Oh boy, there we go. My reactions suck. Hold on, I gotta try that again. What? What? Oh my goodness, another legendary! Alright, how was that? I should be an actor. Peekaboo. Nothing. You Americans are fed differently, man. Oh, thank you. We have shitty ass food. Which I'm interested to see how RFK Jr. does. Right? Now I'm someone who I have, you know, political opinions or whatever, but I mean, I don't know too much to really share them. But I do know that almost all of the food that we are eating here in the US are absolute shit. Right? It is god awful and not good for you. And so I'm very curious to see how this term goes, you know? Water. Like, for example, I don't know where you're from, Z, but I can almost guarantee it where you are right now, Mountain Dew is banned. And the reason why is A, the amount of sugar that's in there, but B, also the dyes that are in there. All right, I forgot what it is, but I think yellow dye and especially red dye are borderline toxic to humans. If someone knows the real answer, please correct me, but I'm pretty sure those are the two reasons. There's a crumb on my cup. Not banned, but heavily regulated. Okay. I said I'm not too sure where you're from. I thought you were in the U.S., but you know, I guess I'm wrong. But it's almost a new product. A new product. Like, I'm going to take that sentence as it has been introduced in your country or your state or whatever, but it's like highly regulated, but it's a quote unquote new product that you guys are able to purchase, right? It's almost a new product compared to the US. Okay. A type of soda that I do like, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, I believe it's pronounced Jarritos, spelt with a J, and it's a Mexican brand of soda that doesn't use high fructose corn syrup, right? So those who don't know what that is, that's taking corn syrup and then just bumping the shit of sugar into it, and that's the majority of what sodas are made out of. These American sodas, right? So Sprite, Mountain Dew, root beer, fucking the whole nine, right? But why I like Jarritos is it's not made with that. It's just made with regular like cane sugar, but it's also made with like different fruits and other natural sugary items to make their sodas, right? And I like to get their what's called like a Fiesta pack, right? Where it's like 15 different sodas, right? They're all glass bottles because I'm a sucker for that sort of thing. But they have like fruit stuff, you know, like grapefruit. They have fruit punch isn't really a fruit, but they have that passion fruit, tamarind, which I'm not a huge fan of, but at least it's different. And then they also have like Mexican cola and stuff like that. And that sort of thing is just way better than what we have here in the US. So
Come on, let's get down. Come on, everybody. Check me out. I'm dancing. I'm dancing.
sugarcane is used on the Mexican Coke too. Yep, correct. And what I started last year, but I didn't really get too successful at it because I'm missing a couple materials, is just making my own sodas, right? So going back to the food, something that's really bad about our food is almost everything is super processed, right? So like bread, for example, or just flour, the stuff is so finite, like it's so chopped, like super thin, that it just passes through the membranes in our body in a way that it's not supposed to, right? So this is what cereals, breads, buns, all that stuff is made out of. So something that I am trying this year, or at least to really try this year, is to just make my own like noodles, buns, bread, stuff like that, and then make it the right way, so that way it doesn't screw up just my life, but also my kids' life when they come into existence, right? Now, I've never left the US, but if I ever do want to travel somewhere, I probably want to go to some place, probably in Europe, like Italy or something like that, just because for a scenery change and just to really try, different food. Because you could find this on the internet, I'm sure, because, that's where I did. But people who went from the US, took a vacation to someplace like Italy, for example, had their food or whatever, and then came back, were way healthier than how they were in the US. And that just kind of proves my point, how food that's made in the US is garbage. So I'm really interested to see how these next 4 years go, how things will change, and then just how the health of the US citizens are in that span of time. But anyway, that's enough talking about food, right? I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Z, thanks for talking in chat, and if anyone else is still in chat, thanks for dropping by. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a good 2025, because Lord knows that we need it. And yeah, I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. I'm thinking about doing not a hybrid hunt, but I'm thinking about getting a new chopper. So we're gonna see how that does. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next